The finals. Who will level 99 be meeting? It's down to Vizard and Patriots on the other side of the bracket.
Man, level 99 played really well, and now we'll see who will match up against them, Vizard or Patriots. First match is already on preview. It's going to be Giant Poison against Minor Poison.
What do you see here, Andrew? What do you think? After watching a full tournament of matches here, what's jumping out to you about these decks?
It's looking like Patriots got an answer for Vizard's push, and he can keep up in the purple game, and he's going to be sending over those Minor Poisons. I think he's going to slowly grind Vizard down.
So right, so Vizard's going to be trying to collect Elixir, and then Patriots has both Minor and Poison to sort of stay ahead in that game. The key thing for me is that Vizard's deck doesn't have good ways to stop an Inferno Tower.
Yep.
Like, Zap is the only real answer. Musketeer can't reach that far if the Inferno Tower is played really far back. And the Ice Spirit is not a reliable way to reset an Inferno Tower because there's so many things that can just kill it.
Or that it just jumps at instead.
Yeah, or just jumps at some other thing on the way. So really it's going to be up to Vizard to use, I guess, Mega Minion, Zap, Musketeer, and really smart ways to get around those Inferno Towers. But I agree that I actually think Patriots' deck, too, not having Bowler is probably an advantage here because there's nothing really to bowl. So instead he's just got Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Mega Minion, which are good.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's take a look.
I've had a hard time seeing Princes get their value this weekend.
Yeah, and Giant Prince has definitely been a thing. I mean, I needed a lot of convincing, but after seeing how much damage they could do if you just like play from a 6-minute long game, one connection, Giant Prince can take down the tower just because of how much damage it does. But definitely, I think this tournament has really shown that Princes have a hard time surviving in a world where there's big bodies plus Mega Minions.
I almost wonder if people were expecting more air decks than what showed up.
Yeah, there were definitely some air decks, but it seems like it was a few critical players throughout the field as opposed to like, oh, a third of the field is playing these decks.
Wow, that Mega Minion just 2v1'd. It made a highlight reel and uploaded it to...
Play of the game, Mega Minion.
The Mega Minion montage.
Yeah.
Got the Overwatch music going on. Oh, man.
Great defense there. Now, that's one of the best situations for a Prince. Even though you overspend on the defense, you generate a pretty serious counter push. Like, overall, you just watched Patriots spend 8 Elixir, right? 3 on the Minor, 3 on the Mega Minion, 2 on the Zap, and only 6 came out of Vizards for that whole exchange back and forth.
All right. Poison on the Collector. Getting scarily close to the King Tower. A little too close for my comfort. Work.
Ooh, I really the one thing I do miss though about not running Prince in this deck is I guess he does have the Prince there is like the being able to put the Prince behind the Giant and being able to have that like loaded shotgun. So if Patriots ever did drop a Mini P.E.K.K.A. in front, you just instantly like whoop, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. gets run over and keep the push going.
Ooh, the Zap was late.
It came in a little late. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about Inferno Tower is that if you're like, let's say, even a second and a half too late, that second and a half can translate into like 1,000 or more damage. One swing. Only one. Okay.
Caught up.
But they're tied. Look at that.
Yeah.
So pretty much even. They're both going to have a fresh pump placed down right about now. Patriots is actually significantly ahead in Elixir, probably about 3 to 4 Elixir ahead, if not more. But they're even on tower damage.
Oh no! And wow, he didn't go for the pump. That's actually interesting to me. But the pump's going to take a lot of damage from the Zap and the Poison. That's a value Zap right there. He placed the Minor so that it did damage, and the Zap hit the Prince, the Tower, and the Collector.
Right.
Little differences, but it actually is one of the key things that Vizard does over a more average play.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, getting every ounce. We talked about that with Woody. One of the things that makes Woody such a good player is that he knows, like when his like Tombstone breaks, to throw Minors in with it and try to get value for those 4 skeletons that pop out, as opposed to just letting them die, like most people, including myself.
Well, I guess the skeletons are dead. It won't feel much of a difference, right? Oh.
He didn't even support that Giant.
Yep.
Just let it die.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like Vizard is having a hard time keeping up a good pace in this match.
Right.
It seems like Patriots got ahead and is
and he's almost like bullying. It's almost like at a poker table when you have more chips than other people, you can use your chips to bully. Patriots, kind of as Andrew predicted in the pre-match, it got ahead in Elixir early and is using that Elixir advantage to harass the Elixir collectors and keep Vizard from ever really catching up. Vizard is obligated to use his poisons on the enemy collectors, but that's allowing Patriots to keep rotating where they at. Look, both those towers are at equal tower health, and part of the reason why is that it's just poisons, 2 poisons here, 2 poisons there, 2 poisons there. Whereas Patriots is able to consistently work down 1 tower. he has two tools, like you mentioned. He can poison one tower, miner the other, and still work towards an eventual win.
Wow, yeah, and just constantly harassing with minor poison.
Yep.
And
great placement, by the way. Patriots is doing a good job of roping it around, moving it in different situations so that Prince didn't just block it like it did the last time.
Inferno Tower tags onto the Prince, but now there's going to be a Mega Minion.
Ooh, and he's got the zap ready.
And he's got a zap. Yep, that's a good time. And this push
Wow,
might actually do a
this
ton.
is looking like a good push. Great placement on the poison, though, because that's going to kill, I believe, the Musketeer
the
and the
Mega gets
Medic.
distracted, and it's
Here
slowed
comes
down.
number 2.
The second Giant's coming in. Is the Inferno back up? It's almost. He almost has it back. Patriots does.
Yeah, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. is actually going to clean that up. I think.
One punch.
Two
Two punches.
actually
Oh
less
no!
than ideal.
And now the game is a lot closer. But I mean, just like that, Vizard was able to take ahead. He didn't. He fell behind in the pump game, right? Like he doesn't have. He doesn't have the pump out
The chip
anymore.
damage. Vizard was hoping that Ice Spirit would have made it
Mm-hmm.
because any little bit.
Yes.
Ice Spirit zap poison.
Just an ice Spirit and a poison. You actually don't
Oh,
need the
yeah.
zap. Ice Spirit does about 100 damage, so it would have been almost.
Oh no!
exactly
Oh
Oh no! And there we go. We're deep in overtime, and I
Zap
think without
it,
he
zap
does
it.
zap. He zaps the mid. Oh my god! But the poison's gonna take it down
Yeah.
unless that was the last tick. Patriots takes game 1 of the top 4 after a game that he was in control of most of the game. Almost lost it there in the end. Vizard had a very successful push that got around the Inferno Tower and was almost able to push that damage. Just fell a little short. But that deck now, Patriots cannot play his minor Inferno deck for the rest of the match. He has to win one game out of the next 2 maybe against Vizard with his Expo deck, and more importantly, Vizard knows it's an Expo deck, right? So from the very first card played, he can play around that idea and not try to give too many openings to the Expo player.
Yeah. And having a Giant is kind of a big tool against crossbow because you have all the time in the world to set up your counterattack on a crossbow. There's not much that your opponent can do aside from blocking on an Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon now, I suppose, to make sure that that Giant goes down quickly enough. And so Vizard will have a lot of space, a lot of freedom to use his Giant plus Mega Minion and slot them in however he sees fit to take down that crossbow. Question is, will Vizard get that opportunity to do so, especially within the first few moments when the card cycle is not controlled?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I definitely changed it up to Giant because of what you were saying, right? Like knowing that he's an Expo deck from the first moment you play is a huge advantage because that means that Vizard never is going to make the mistake of starting his pushes behind his King Tower unless he knows the Expo's out.
Deadly move.
Yeah, he's probably going to start almost all of his pushes from deep center field kind of thing, like in front of the King Tower, but as far back as you can so that the Giant sort of walks towards the lane and then up. That gives him still the ability to invest that elixir and save it up for long enough, but doesn't ever leave him as vulnerable to the Expo placement at the river.
By having a less controlled Giant push, though, by having to play it in the middle to block the Expo, it's going to make Inferno Tower setups much easier to defend the Expo.
It's actually
Giant's kind of a sitting duck right across the river from the Expo.
Yeah, you're right. Patriots might actually have to set up situations where he plays, because the weird thing is that Patriots wants his Inferno Tower up by the river to guard the Expo, but he might have to be in situations, you're right, where he plays it sort of in the center to defend against these big telegraphed King push or Giant pushes.
I feel like that was a big loss for Vizard. He didn't gain much of an elixir advantage, took a little bit of damage on his tower, and now is having to take poison as damage onto his tower, plus his collector gets denied. And the crossbow is still in hand.
I don't like that really early placed Inferno Tower because it's losing health just from the time period, and then you also let your people like time these perfect Prince pushes just for when it's lower health. Like, if he had a lightning right now, he could just be like doom 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 and hit that tower.
Yeah. In the end, I think it's going to get its value. And
It did because of the
right
Prince.
now,
Yeah.
I think the crossbow's going to lock onto the... boy. Oh, just barely. And the Giant is actually
That's
going to
the
take
dream.
it.
Ooh, look at that Musketeer placement too. The knockback is going to allow it to retarget onto the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Oh, Mini P.E.K.K.A.'s going to
That
get
was a
swings.
great-
Ooh, you're
play.
right.
Yeah, that log was...
1 swing.
Wow.
2 swing. The log knockback and I'm forcing it to reset is really huge. But here comes a full health, pretty much Mega Minion to get a little damage in there as well. So while Patriots got ahead there, actually significantly ahead. Whoa, whoa, down to 600 left. That means he only needs about 3 poisons or what, like 2 poisons, 2 logs or whatever.
Yeah.
Assuming that an Expo never hits ever again.
Yes.
But I think Vizard's pretty happy with that push as well.
Yeah, I really think the big differentiation for Patriots there and what earned them so much damage was just that log pushing the Musketeer back and allowing the Mini P.E.K.K.A. to push through and get to the tower.
It took just enough off the Musketeer that the Mini P.E.K.K.A. could one-shot it and head onto the tower.
And also saved health on the crossbow, gave the Mini P.E.K.K.A. swings. It was just the perfect use of log.
Yeah.
All right, he puts the early Inferno Tower, and this might actually turn around to bite him.
Yeah, once again, this is the situations where you don't. I mean, like, even if something gets played at the river here to hold it up, like, even the log, that's not really helpful because the Inferno Tower wasn't locked on to anything, so you didn't even get additive damage in that regard.
Yep, and got zapped, and look at how little health that Inferno Tower has.
And the Prince. Oh, unfortunately, that poison is just still so effective at stopping everything. Like,
the cycle on that log. 2 in 1 push.
I kind of understand now why Patriots is playing. Remember we mentioned, like, well, why did he switch out Lightning for Poison? We just saw it, right? That was such a cost-effective way to stop, like, everything, every sort of push you can imagine.
Yeah, Poison
log. That was a great move. Patriots tried to send Fire Spirits down on that tower, saying, let me get these Fire Spirits, and I'm only going to be 1 poison away and a log away. And Vizard had to spend his zap over there. So now he doesn't have it for this Inferno Tower coming here.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yep. He has to play.
Ooh, that's a great log because it kept the damage on it. Even that zap was just a little too late.
It's going to be too late now.
Yeah. And the Ice Spirit is so good. You see how strong the Inferno Tower decks are and why they're so popular. Like, Inferno Tower on its own can be countered, but it certainly can't really be countered with guards in front of it, Ice Spirits, zaps, poisons, all those other things to let you get maximum damage out of it. So Patriots, 2-0s Vizard. Vizard remains always the bridesmaid, never the bride. One of the most consistent and prolific performers, but has yet, and with the last one of the season, will not take a Super Magical Cup title home. I'm very excited to see Vizard, though, in the Season 2 championship in 2 weeks.
Could be
because
the next Clyde.
Great deck builder, really good at predicting the meta. I bet you Vizard, like Clyde, who didn't win in Season 1 as well, is somebody who can cut through a known field of top players and really overperform in the Season 2 championship. So very excited to see.
We'll have to see
how that goes.